get into something new and fun, I have a tendency to want to tell everyone, my friends, my family, especially the people that are close to me. And the problem is that often leads to me feeling deflated and often just basically questioning myself. So, why do I have the need to do this? Anyone else want to talk about it? Welcome back to Soulful Wonderings, the space where we search for meaning in everyday life and honor the lessons that help us grow. I'm Heather and I'm your host. Before we get started, we would love it if you would subscribe to our podcast. You can also head over to our socials and follow us there, and I will make sure to put all of that in the show notes. Let's get back to validation, or is that what it really is? Let me see if I can explain. I actually have a new project that I'm working on now, and kind of based on this conversation that we're having today, I'm not sure that I'm really ready to share it with anyone yet. Hopefully it will be soon, but I'm kind of keeping it to myself right now. And part of it is, again, this conversation that we're having, but the thing about it is that it's lighting me up. It really is. In ways that a lot of other things haven't in a while. And not to say that other things I do don't light me up. I love doing the podcast. I love doing the healing lens. I love doing healings and talking to people and all of those things. And those do light me up. This one is just, it's different. It's opening up things in me that are interesting, that are really just changing me, how I look at things. There's just so much about it, and I truly I feel so aligned with it, but I also feel super vulnerable, like super vulnerable. So but like I said, it's just, there's so many things about it that are just amazing, and they're just helping me. And I feel like, you know how it can be when you have a new project, right? You're working out the kinks, you're planning, maybe you're kind of working through some steps, to get, it launched or ready or whatever. Like for my business, when I started my business, I was working on a logo and a website and just kind of all the things. Now, mind you, both of those things in particular have changed at least twice. And the logo is actually about to change ever so slightly. Again, it's just a little tweak, but it is going to change soon. So often I'm practically buzzing with excitement when I'm doing things like this. It's fun. And I'm excited about it. I love what's happened, and I just, yay. And I can't wait to show people. But why? I'm excited, and that's a yes. Do I just want to talk about it? Okay, that's probably also a yes. So, am I excited, or am I looking for validation? Instead of just excitement and wanting to talk about it because, oh my God, this is fun, am I looking for these people to tell me how great it is? Do I want them to say, oh yeah, this is great, pat me on the back, and, atta girl, or, whatever that looks like. And the truth is, I think it's honestly a bit of both. I think it's because for me, usually when this is happening and I'm really wanting to share it, I guess I feel like I've really hit on something. You know what I mean? I've really put something together. Because they don't know. They don't know that I've probably been putting in hours of work, hours of thought. I've probably been meditating and praying and journaling and all the things to kind of figure out what I wanted that end result to be, what I want that logo to be, what really represents me. I've probably spent time in front of the computer working on the logo, finding the right thing, finding the right font, all the things. And people often don't know that. They don't know really how much has gone into it. You're just suddenly going, oh, look at this cool thing that I'm doing. And they may not even know the backstory or what's going on. But I'm looking at it going, I've put the work in. I want the reward. I can't talk. I've put the work in. I want the reward, damn it. I want to take my blood, sweat, and tears and put it out there, and I want it to be accepted and loved. I mean, is that so much to ask? And maybe it is, because is that what it is? Is that why I'm wanting to share these things? And when I started thinking about it, I kind of, of course, started taking a little journey down memory lane. And guess what? This is a pattern. Imagine that. That whole wanting validation. It's actually, I think it's probably pretty natural for most humans. We want people to appreciate us and to tell us that we're doing a good job. And I suppose some people want that more than others. I do know people that don't do this, and I don't understand them, at least in this aspect. I don't know. How do you just live your life and not want people to tell you you're doing great? I don't get it. But I really don't. How are you doing all this work and you don't want people to tell you that you're amazing for it? But it does happen. I'm telling you, it's out there. People like that are out there. But some of us just, we need that attagirl, that attaboy, right? But here's the rub with all of this. Praise is often not what we get, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. We get opinions. And often those opinions may be something that makes us rethink the whole thing. They say something like, well, I would have done it this way. Or we get the questions, ones that we probably hadn't thought through yet, to be quite honest, right? We weren't ready to answer those yet. We just had the logo done. We don't have our elevator speech ready, But even then, oh, why'd you use that image? Well, why'd you choose those colors? So what's your offer? What you're going to charge? And on and on and on. And again, you didn't even get that far. You were just working on the logo because I know for me, that's creative and it's something that I actually really enjoy doing. So I probably just backed up and did that because I needed a break from working on other things. So when those kinds of things happen and you get all the questions and you get all the, oh, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. For me, that often leads to feelings of inadequacy or, straight up imposter syndrome, and the truth is I could have gotten all of that idea, everything that I did, maybe out in a meditation. Maybe it was just coming to me and it was coming just clear as day on what my direction should be, on what I needed to do. I came out of that meditation. I was feeling aligned. I was feeling good about, yes, this is the decision. This is the way I should go. And then in one conversation, that's all gone. And I just start questioning the whole thing. And then I start, second guessing everything. I start going, maybe I got the message wrong. Maybe they're right. Maybe what they're saying is really what I should be doing. Maybe the direction I was going isn't what I was supposed to do at all. And often what I'll end up doing is going back to the drawing board and basically trying to incorporate those ideas. I start to go, okay, well, maybe I do need a different font or a different color, or, maybe I need to change my offer. Maybe my offer isn't really what people are looking for. And is it going to give the results? And there's a lot of maybe. And then I start trying to put all these things and all these other ideas into what my original idea was, and to change it, to make it what they're saying. And you know what I get when I do that? I get a big bloody mess. That's what. Okay, now hear me, and I want to make sure that I back up and say this. Most people don't mean to do that. Okay, let's be honest about it. I think most people intend to help. They're a friend, their family, they care about you. They probably feel like they're offering you helpful advice. Or maybe the reason they're asking about, well, what's your offer? What's your pricing? What's your whatever? Maybe they're genuinely curious. They may even think that this is actually a really cool idea, and they truly want to know how you're going to price and such because they want to help share it. You know what I mean? They actually want to help you. I feel like most people in your friendship circle are not setting out to make you feel bad or question your project or, your entire existence. I think part of this goes to trust for me. I think I've actually had a couple people trying to make me feel bad on purpose. They weren't my friend. And there kind of are some other reasons that people might do things, and it's generally subconscious. Again, that's kind of a different conversation, and we will have that another day. So it can happen, but for the most part, on a conscious surface level, people really aren't trying to hurt you. They're trying to be helpful. And of course, when I was doing this journey back through my life, thinking about this, I think a lot of the time I was looking for validation from my parents. It kind of came from that relationship. I wanted to succeed. They were successful, and I wanted to prove that being creative, not doing the same thing they were doing, running a business, or the type of business that they had, but that being creative could be a successful avenue as well. I wanted them to be proud of me. I needed them to be proud to make sure that they loved me. Now, part of that is just my personality, I think. I'm a Pisces and I want people to love me. That's just how I am. I want acceptance. I want acceptance. But with this new thing, I haven't shared it. I really haven't. Okay, my husband knows a lot about it. But in a way that doesn't count because we talk about everything. So that's that's a little different, him knowing. But I haven't really shared it with other people. I may have told people that I'm working on something and that I'm not ready to share it. Every one of those people has said something to the effect of, that's great. And you know what? I completely understand. And when you're ready, I'd love to hear about it. It was that simple, y'all. Who knew? It's hard though. I realize some of what I was doing or what I needed a sounding board. I needed someone besides my own crazy brain or even besides my husband to just bounce things off of. So I'm having to learn to discern when it's right to share and when it's right to let it develop first. I'm having to learn when I go to someone and I want to talk about it that I have to be clear and say, I need a sounding board. I need to bounce ideas off of you. I need a whiteboard session, and I have a couple friends who are really great with that and would understand that, look, I just need to bounce it off as someone who understands kind of what I'm doing and has an idea of this, and I respect what they have to say. And again, I have a couple friends that they're really great at that, but I haven't called them. Not yet anyway. And I do talk to my husband. Like I said, he's the only one that really knows about it, and bless him, he tries to help. And I truly value his input. Hear me, I do. But there are days that all I can think is, so, why are you talking? I know I said words to you and you are amazing and supportive and wicked smart and your ideas have so much value. And I love you so much for listening to me all the time. But I really was just kind of talking so that it wasn't in my head anymore. And now you're talking and it's making my brain hurt. Do you know what I mean? And okay, look, don't think that I don't love and appreciate it. I truly do, y'all. He listens to all the things, the crazy, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate him and love that he's in my life. I truly, truly do. But I know you get what I'm saying, right? Like you want help, but you don't. Like it's almost like I just need you to sit there and be a human that I can pour what I'm thinking, kind of into your ear holes. And then when I hear it out loud, when the words are finally, when I allow them to hang in the air, they'll start to fall back down to where they're supposed to be. And none of that requires anything from the other person. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's bless his heart. Like I said, sometimes he gets the brunt of all of it. But the truth is, he is actually truly helpful. He is quite a good writer in his own right. He's worked in TV and such. So, and plus he's been around me a long time and seen a lot of this stuff happen. But he just kind of gets the creative process. He gets the planning and so all the things that we talk about, well, plus the fact that we've been together for many, many years, we can almost talk in a little bit of a shorthand. I don't have to go into a lot of backstory. I can just kind of blurt things out. So, that's really nice. And can I be honest? Sometimes he has great ideas that as soon as he says them, I'm like, I'm good. That's all I needed. And I'm off to work on it. Like it was exactly what I needed to hear. And I'm off, okay, let me go change this thing. And sometimes it's just great back and forth and we're hammering shit out where I have to go get a piece of paper. So there really are, there really are good times in our conversations and in our back and forth. I wanted to make sure I was clear about that. But again, there are those times though that I need him to stop talking. But even in those times, I actually learned something. Just sometimes it's not, sometimes it's about what I'm not gonna do. Like when I hear it out loud from him and my entire body kind of goes into a revolt and thinks, oh, well, Lord, that is not what I'm going to do. That is not at all how this is going to work. That at that point, then I know I'm on the right track. So I guess you could say that he's helpful no matter what the interaction and what the situation is. I get some help from him. But it's hard for me to find that trust in anyone else. I might drop little bits of things to others. But maybe kind of as a question or as an idea, it's nowhere near the whole project. It may be just a little tidbit that I just kind of want to see how they'll react. Maybe it's kind of my own little warped focus group, but you know what I mean. There are people that that they're into this thing that you're working on. So maybe you just drop a little hint. Wouldn't it be neat if somebody did this thing and you just kind of see how they would react and see if they go, oh yeah, that would be cool. Or if they go, nobody's going to like that. You know what I mean? I just do it sometimes to see people's reaction. It does really help me. But there are just so many layers here, aren't there? Because we're learning to trust not only myself, but others, and trying to discern what we're going to share and who we're going to share it with. There's just a lot of layers to that. There's also me trying to recognize that I don't need approval to be loved. None of us do, y'all. We do not need approval to be loved. And for this particular project, it's been a great lesson in kind of all of those things. And also recognizing that I want to feel confident in my decisions and the direction I'm taking and exactly what it is that I'm creating before I share it. I want to continue to heal these parts of me that we've been talking about, so that when I do share it with the world, I'm not letting myself get caught up in other people's opinions. So I feel like our takeaway here is a lot of times it's about timing, consent, and containment. Because we're discovering that not every idea needs a witness while it's forming. We're learning that sharing without clarity invites opinions and not always support. I'm learning that excitement doesn't require an external confirmation. I can just be excited for myself. And I'm also learning that you're allowed to protect what's still becoming. It's still finding its legs. I'm allowed to protect that. So I feel like the lesson isn't don't share. It's share with intention. So if any of this feels familiar to you, if you're someone who gets lit up by new ideas and then immediately wants to tell anyone, and then walks away kind of feeling smaller instead of bigger, maybe this is your invitation to pause. Before you share, maybe ask yourself a few things. Ask yourself, what do I actually need right now? Really identify that. Am I looking to be witnessed, validated, workshopped? What is it that you need? And make sure you know, so that you can clarify that. Maybe set a boundary. Also, is this idea strong enough yet to stand in someone else's opinion? Are you ready to hear opinions on it that don't make you go back and rethink your entire life? And here's another thing I'm learning. Not everything needs feedback in its early stages. Some ideas just need quiet. They need time. They need to be protected until they can breathe on their own. And if me, do decide to share, it helps to be clear. Maybe say things like, look, I just need to say this out loud. I'm not looking necessarily for feedback. I just need to say this out loud and hear it in my own voice. Tell them I'm not looking for advice yet. I just need to say this. Or I need a sounding board, not a solution. And that kind of clarity, that's basically a form of self-trust. Maybe the bigger lesson here is this: you don't need approval to be allowed to want something. You don't need permission to follow what lights you up. And other people's questions don't mean you're wrong. They just mean your idea isn't finished yet, and that's okay. So if you're holding on to something new right now, maybe let it be yours a little longer. Let it grow roots before you invite the world in. Because excitement doesn't mean it's ready to be shared. And protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's wise. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for a new idea is to keep it to yourself until you trust it and yourself enough to let it be seen.